Stuart Skinner says the Oilers' Game 1 collapse was a tough pill to swallow. He admits he needs to get better at fighting through the traffic to see the puck. But Ryan, how much of that was on Skinner and how much of it was on the guys in front of him?
Yeah, it's a good question, Gino. It's kind of a chicken and egg thing. It's equal parts, right? Stuart Skinner has to give them a save. There's going to be a lot of focus on the penalty kill, and we'll talk about that. But I think if you were to pour truth serum into all of the players that are part of that penalty kill, the truth is you got to get a save too. So it's on both of them, and Skinner would admit that as well. He knows he needs to battle harder, right? They want to get all kinds of bodies in front of him. In last night's case, it was a lot of Oiler bodies in front of him. He's got to battle through some of those, and he admitted that post-game. He knows that. And I think back to a few games ago when, the Oilers had lost a game and Stu Skinner said, it's my job to give my team a chance to win, and I feel I did that. And then you look at last night's messaging, and it's Stu Skinner standing there saying, I need to battle harder. And I think that's better messaging, and it'll be interesting to see how Skinner, a pretty good bounce-back goaltender, bounces back.
Okay, Rishaug, about this time last year, the Oilers opened the Western Conference Final with a win in Dallas. The Oilers' PK was perfect. The Stars went 0 for 14 on the power play in that series. Pete DeBoer says he took a lot of heat for that. So going 3 for 4 in Game 1 of the power play was huge for them. Fair enough. But Rishaug, what happened to the Oilers' much vaunted PK?
Well, last year, the numbers were staggering, 94% in the playoffs. It's over a 30% drop-off here. It's crazy how you can go from, with largely the same personnel, for the most part, and they missed Matthias Ekholm, you can go from being an all-timer of a penalty kill to not able to kill anything off at all. And that's what's happened here. It's been dramatic. And it's been all season long. It's been a story. They've been working on it all season long. I think they were hopeful that they would be able to solidify it for the postseason, but it hasn't happened. And so it's a lot about confidence. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins absolutely agreed that it can be confidence, right? You got a power play that every time it goes out there, you feel like you can score a goal, right? We've seen that with the Oilers power play. Well, the penalty kill, it feels like every time the other team's power play is heading out there, they're going to give one up, and that's going to get into their heads too. So, Gino, this is a big one. They're not going anywhere if they don't get this penalty kill sorted out. It's too big a part of the game, and they got no choice. So they got good coaches, they got veteran players, much like they do with their power play. When it goes dry, they got to get under the hood and get going and figure this one out.
That 5-minute and 26-second implosion completely wasted another great offensive performance by Leon Draisaitl. His 11th career three-point game. Only 2 guys in NHL history have had more. But he couldn't celebrate. All he could say was, we have to be an awful lot more mature than that, meaning giving up those 3 power play goals. Is he right? Was it lack of maturity that cost them Game 1?
Yeah, I think so. They're a veteran group, right? Part of that is supposed to be understanding the moment and understanding things like discipline. So there are penalties you're absolutely going to want back, right? Corey Perry unnecessarily in front of the nets. Evander Kane unnecessarily with the stick. All kinds of sticking infractions. And Corey Perry said they did discuss it today and talked about the fact that it's a lot of stick penalties. These aren't being born out of too much intensity or riding a fine line of playoff hockey and sometimes stepping over. This is stuff that's controllable, and that is maturity. So I think Draisaitl was absolutely correct. But bottom line, Gino, last night, there was a step taken here. We'd done a lot of talking about the Oilers' depth and how much, alternate scorers had been helping them. Well, that wasn't the case last night. Connor McDavid came out like a house on fire in the first couple of periods, blazing all over the place. Draisaitl scores. Nugent-Hopkins get one. Evan Bouchard. This is their front line that came to play at even strength last night, and it was wasted by poor penalties and a terrible penalty kill.
All right, you and I like to play glass half full, half empty, so let me give you this. While it's true their PK got killed, how much can the Oilers take away from what they were able to do 5-on-5?
Yeah, there was a formula there for sure. And the point was made today by Nugent-Hopkins. They didn't back their way into Game 1. They've struggled with game number 1 over the last couple of years, but they came out and asserted themselves. They were by far, pretty much any metric you can find, they were the far better team at even strength. Chris Knobloch had his lines rolling. And this team's at its best when he separates those 2 players and rolls 4 lines. And that's what happened for the first 40 minutes. Well, then the penalty trouble comes. The lines get all jumbled up. They're unable to get that continuity among their lines, and they couldn't get it back. So, Gino, there's a formula there. I don't know we'll see a lot of changes between Game 1 and Game 2, because if you're Chris Knobloch looking at that even strength game, I don't know that there's a ton you feel like you got to change.
Yeah, but the 5 unanswered goals by the Stars were the most by any team scoring in a single period in these playoffs. The upside, as you say, for the Oilers, Shogger, while they stunk in the third, they actually controlled the first two. So it's something to build on.